The hyphen alludes to Pallas Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom and civilization.
The patron of Elizabethan theatre, shaking her spirit ignorance, represented by the snake. Shakespeare did not invent the sonnet. The father of the English sonnet was Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey, and he was married to the 15th Earl of Oxford's daughter, Frances de Vere. Even Strato Kenneth Muir notes that the next milestone in the evolution of the English sonnet comes in 1582 with Hecatompathia. But Muir doesn't mention that the man behind the passionate Century of Love is Surrey's nephew Edward de Vere. Another Strato, Dover Wilson, unwittingly confirms Edward de Vere authored Shakespeare's sonnets, because sonnets 1 to 17 are about marrying off de Vere's daughter. So Wilson is stuck with wondering how to fit the Stratford guy into all this. In 1591, Philip Sidney's sonnets are published 5 years after his death. His posthumous works are edited by his sister Mary Sidney and friend Fulk Greville. In the 1590s, sonnets become all the rage, and lame poor in despite, Edward de Vere marries Elizabeth Trentham. She sets him up in Hackney where he can write. Edward de Vere lives in Hackney until he exits the stage in 1604. By 1609, Elizabeth Trentham needs money from the sale of their Hackney mansion, and de Vere's or Shakespeare's sonnets to buy back the castle of Hedingham, the lost family seat for her son Henry de Vere, now the 18th Earl of Oxford. Now, class, I want you to look at the picture in front of you and tell me if you see anything strange about it. You can go first, Leonardo da Cunha. Make a mark or a circle. Very good, Leonardo.
It was always planned that literary families of Edward de Vere and Mary Sidney Herbert would be bound together with the 1604 marriage between Susan de Vere and Philip Herbert. In 1619, William Jaggard is wooing Susan de Vere during the production of Archaeoplautus to win the contract to be the printer of the big one, her father's collected works, the first folio. Jaggard knows she is the grand possessor. This is the first part of Susan de Vere's message in a bottle to us 400 years into the future. The key here is the translation of Armitage de Gaulle's saga involving various collaborations with their long-time assistant Anthony Munday. Now for us, the fascinating plot. Armitage de Gaule is about the star-crossed love of King Perion of Gaul and Elisine of England, resulting in the secret birth of Armitage. The abandoned infant with royal sword and ring is set adrift in a chest upon the seas, later rescued and raised by a Scottish knight. Susan de Vere specifically orders this pivotal motif to feature on the Armitage title page instead of the usual knight riding horse. Armitage then goes on the adventure to find out his true origin. Monday's dedication in the book is another confirmation of Susan de Vere as the grand possessor of the Shakespeare manuscripts and source books. He states, "By the help of that worthy lady I have had such books as were of the best edition." The Armitage message is also reinforced when the Susan de Vere Mary Sidney Roth collaboration begins on The Countess of Montgomery's Urania, eventually published in 1621. In the run-up cleft, Urania learns that the couple who reared her from childhood are not her actual parents. After many obstacles in the climax, Urania finds out about her royal heritage. Susan had a close relationship with Ben Jonson. She appeared in more of his New Year Mass for the royal court than anyone else. Ben Jonson fell in love with her. When in England, you must go to see where Susan lived, in Wilton. In particular, check out the Shakespeare Shadow statue. All the way through, collaborations. Susan de Vere's message in a bottle reads, "My father, Edward de Vere, is Shakespeare."
No, Mr. Jagger, this is not the picture I want. It looks too real, too much detail. I just want something simple as a hint there is something behind. That's it. I want it to look like a mask. You need to be able to see a firm line down the edge. Excellent. Even better with the reversed arm.